don't know why, but today I felt compelled to have a discussion about this. Right now, it just seems very popular to either be poor or to be broke or to be going through some sort of struggle. I don't know why, but it is. It could be because of the actual economy we're in. It makes it a lot more believable that a lot of people are struggling due to the economy. But to be honest, y'all, I ain't going for it. I'm not going for it. Everybody is struggling because of the economy. I think a lot of people, to be 1,000% honest, are 100% struggling because of the situations that they have put themselves in. I have seen so many videos where when I watch the video, I'm like, well, you look rich, you look like you're living okay, you look, and then you go over the money that people are making. And I'm just like, something ain't adding up here, but we got like these sob stories of how people are just so broke. To be fair, I have done content where I have even showed you guys statistics of how even people that make more money, six-figure earners, sometimes like half of them are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason why I bring that up is because there's always that argument of if I just made more money, I would be able to live a better lifestyle. I wouldn't be struggling. And struggle to me is living paycheck to paycheck. I don't care how much you're getting paid. And I'm going to say something that a lot of y'all might not agree with, but this is how I feel. I feel like there are different types of broke. One type of broke, in my opinion, are the people who go to work every day. These people don't make a lot of money to begin with. They are out here trying to buy necessities. They're trying to keep the lights on. They're barely scraping by in society. So every little bit of inflation is doing them in. I truly feel bad for these people. And I hope that anybody in that situation is able to get out. But then there's this other type of broke that I see. This is where the individual or the household is spending way more money than they actually have to. They are actually blessed with the amount of money that they could thrive in society with, but they choose to overdo it. Maybe they have lifestyle creep. Maybe every time somebody got a raise, they went and got a bigger house or a bigger car, or they went on more vacations and they did things to put them in the situation of always living paycheck to paycheck because every time they got some money, they went and spent it. That type of broke right there is the type of broke that I feel we see a lot of content online about. TikTok, YouTube, whatever the case may be. You're watching their content as somebody really struggling, as somebody who don't even have these resources in the first place, and then you're like, oh, they're so relatable, like they're struggling, they're in like all of this debt and blah blah blah. But it's like y'all aren't even on the same playing field. They have more resources to begin with than you, and their struggle is because they put themselves in the struggle. Your struggle is like you don't even make enough money to survive, and maybe you're gonna have to pick up 2-3 jobs because maybe you don't have the skills that this person does over here, but they just spend like crazy. And I feel like this kind of content over here, that's the type of broke that I'm just like, why? I'm not saying that any level of being broke isn't challenging. That's an uncomfortable situation to be in regardless of how you're broke and what type of broke you are. But this type of broke over here, it bothers me because when these people get online, they act like it's because they don't make the money and all these things. You really don't make the money. And what I think we do as people is we lump being broke into just one umbrella, and we're not asking, why are you broke? What did you do? What did you buy? Who were you trying to impress? Were you trying to keep up with the Joneses? We just are like, you're broke, I'm broke, we're all broke together, and let's like all come together and go against the system of being broke. And food prices is high, they should come down. Gas prices is high, we gonna blame the president. And then all of us, no matter what, if we're broke, we all just band together. But I don't think that's right. I don't think that the people who are broke because they make a lot of money and they just stupidly spend it have the same sort of leg to stand on as somebody who's broke because they don't have the resources. I don't care what y'all say, this is how I feel and I'm gonna stand on it. Some of y'all are broke because you spend too much money trying to impress people. You be doing too much, lifestyle creep, don't know when to stop spending money, don't know when to say when. You just gotta have everything you want, no boundaries, no discipline, and you have people online that don't really know the full scope of the situation feeling bad for you, when I truly believe that if a lot of these people knew how you was getting what you was getting and what you was getting when you was getting it, they wouldn't even feel bad for you. Like, let's be for real. And spending irresponsibly whenever you have money can happen on any level. This really applies to both sides here. It could be that maybe you're even spending money in ways that you shouldn't be spending, and maybe you are actually making enough to have your basic necessities met, but because of the way you spend every month, you end up being broke, and then you're wondering why you're broke every month. Now, I don't want anybody to be broke, but I also feel like if you don't budget and live your life accordingly to what you actually bring in every month, how can you find yourself in a situation where you're flourishing? Like, I don't expect you to flourish in the economy, in the world, anywhere, if you just go out and just spend all your money and you don't have no sort of budget. When you see something you want it, you tell yourself, oh, this little lunch right here, it ain't doing nothing. This little $20 I'm spending every day, me getting DoorDash, it's not affecting me like that in the bigger scheme of things. And you do certain things every day and you just tell yourself, no, it's not a problem. I should be able to do that and I'm still going to be broke, so it doesn't really matter. Like, those sort of things are the excuses that might be actually what's contributing to keeping you broke. You see what I'm saying? If you add it up. But how many people really go add up those things? We don't see people getting online sharing all the decisions they make behind the screens that are keeping them broke. If we do, there are shows like I Love Caleb Hammer. Do you know why his show is so popular? I think it's because you get to actually see when people make excuses for why they're broke. When you lock in to the bank account and see what are you actually doing, where is this money going, you see people with addictions. They got corn habits, you know what I'm talking about. They got smoking habits, they got food addictions, they got shopping addictions, they got every addiction you can think of, and they just keep spending. Then you hear the excuses that a lot of these people make, like, oh, it was not like, oh, I just wanted to go on that vacation, oh, I just had to take that flight to Europe. And it's like, wow, you really think that that is okay? And the crazy thing is, think about if you did not see these people on these shows showing what they actually spend money on. These are the people you see every day just saying, I'm broke, I don't know why I'm broke, I don't make enough money, blah, 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 blah. They will make it seem like all the money that they get is just for their basic necessities, like their living expenses, their water, their food. They'll make it seem like they just eating beans and rice. Meanwhile, when you actually see what people are doing, it makes it kind of hard to feel bad, doesn't it? People just aren't financially literate, and then they end up just making excuses on why they're broke. This applies to the people who are broke, who don't want to be broke, but are doing things that are keeping them broke, and then acting like they don't know why they're broke. If you live whatever lifestyle you live and whatever consequences or rewards come of that you are happy with, no problem. If you like it, I love it. But I think the ratio is not the same. There's a lot more people who are not satisfied with their financial situation, and they're not ready to own up to why they're in the situation they're in. And these two types of broke are not the same. And I'm honestly tired of seeing the second type. I kind of just feel like it's pandering. It's not just regular influencers doing it. Like, I've even seen celebrities out here saying how they struggling and all this and that, because I think they're just trying to be more relatable. But I just feel like it comes off like, how could you, how could you be having the same conversation as somebody that's, say, working like a factory job, that's slaving on their feet 12 hours out the day. They barely got any time to go home and do anything. And you're over here with these resources having this conversation about how you are struggling so bad, but because you said you're broke, everybody's just like, oh, they're broke like me. And they're not the same broke as you. They're avocado toast broke. They're the type of broke, like, they're going to brunch every day broke. They're broke like, oh, I had to like cut down on vacations and do just 2 a year instead of 1. Like, y'all are not the same type of broke. They're like rich people broke. You're like broke, and you're like trying to be like, oh, unity. It's not the same. Because even if you think about what I'm saying, broke to people who have resources don't look the same as somebody that is broke that don't have them resources. Like, you hear somebody say how they had to cut back and what they're doing to cut back on their lifestyle, and just think about the worst person that you can think of in poverty right now. This person describing their life and how they're cutting back and how their life seems at this moment with them cutting back. This person over here, that's paradise. But this person is saying they're broke. They are struggling. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's honestly like a slap in the face. Doesn't that kind of sound like an imposter? Because I know people that are in real poverty. And when these people online is talking about they broke, what? And also, I have nothing against the people who have worked their way out of poverty or whatever situation they're in and started going up in the ladder to not be in that situation. I admire that. But what I don't admire is people that are trying to portray themselves as broke that aren't really broke. Everybody got a story about how they're just so down and out. And a lot of people may say things like, oh, you're pocket watching. If you're trying to see, like, it's none of your business why they're broke. They're struggling, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's not never just what y'all see on the surface level. And that's the problem, is a lot of us can't think past what we just see put in front of us. You just think because somebody told you that they are broke, that's just the end of the story. And there's not not nothing else that should be looked into. And you should just automatically feel some sort of sadness for this person because being broke triggers feeling sorry for them. If you knew what a lot of these people was doing behind the scenes, I doubt that a lot of y'all would feel sorry. That is the truth. That person may not tell you they have a gambling addiction and they just blew 30K at the casino. They're not going to tell you that part. They're going to tell you they're broke and they don't make enough money at work. They're not going to tell you they just got a $30,000 car, brand new, with an 18% interest rate to go pull up at the factory. Now they got to go work overtime. You just see them working overtime all the time and they're telling you they're broke. Maybe they're broke because of the car. They're not going to tell you they got a big old house with 5 rooms in it and it's only 2 people living in the house and the interest rate is out of the wazoo. No, what they're going to tell you is they're barely scraping by to pay their bills. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the stuff is big stuff people do and it puts them in this bad situation. And they're not going to tell you that they just afterpaid $10,000 because they wanted to go to Dubai or to Bali and they just lost their job and they still got to pay that back. They're not going to tell you that they're running it up on their credit card because they like to go to Sephora. They're not going to tell you these. They're not going to tell you they have an Amazon addiction. They're not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you they order DoorDash every day and they're paying $1,300 a month for a DoorDash when they can cook. They're just going to say, oh, I'm so broke. I don't have money left over and my tire just went flat and I don't have no money to replace. All you're going to hear is the after effects. That's it. So for me, any story I hear, unless you're going to open up the bank account when you complaining about being broke and you're going to tell the whole story, I don't know if I believe it, y'all. I don't know. Because a lot of people did it to themselves and they'll get online looking for sympathy from everybody. Like, oh, I'm in such a bad spot. What did you do? Oh, I got fired from my job. I needed my job. You just cussed out Mr. Edwards last week. You knew you shouldn't have been at the job cussing. Now you fired. Now you're mad. Now you're broke and you're online talking about you're broke. What did you, like, what happened? What is the story? You see what I'm saying? There's usually more. We don't get the more. We just hear, oh, well, I'm living in my car. Why are you in your car? What happened? Oh, I wanted to go chase my dreams and go move out into this city. I ain't have no money, but I just wanted to do what I wanted to do because I only live life, YOLO. That's the type of stuff that happens in real life. So for me, I'm just like, I ain't going for it no more. I'm not going for it. Like, show me what happened. Show me what happened. Tell me what happened. Because all of this pandering online for sympathy, like, I'm really over it. Good for content creators, don't get me wrong. And I don't love seeing nobody in the struggle, but I'm just like, there's more. And just like people get online looking for sympathy, some of us with a brain that think a little bit deeper, we want to know the why. People just showing up on camera crying, like literally crying about how life is so hard and X, Y, and Z, but you didn't tell the people you quit your job because they looked at you funny one day and you got tired of them. You got tired of them and you had a good job and you was just done and you said, I want to become a content creator. I'm doing what I want. Like, you ain't tell us that part. You see what I'm saying? But you told us that you was broke. I challenge anybody that do that sort of content. Show us or tell us why, because that's what I want to know. Like, because I feel like that's the truth. You want to have a real connection with the people that you're trying to emotionally invoke. I challenge you. Show us why or tell us why. Because some people will do it. They'll tell you, I did something dumb. I quit my job. I shouldn't have quit. I didn't have no job lined up. I just wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. It was affecting my mental health, whatever. Not saying mental health isn't important, but some people will just be like, oh, it affected my mental health. They stressed me out. So I was just out and I didn't have nothing lined up. And now I'm out here trying to get a job when everybody's trying to get a job and now I can't get no job and it's hard because it's competitive. I've heard it. While I do feel empathy for those people, I also have a rational way of thinking. Like, we have to make rational decisions because these sort of irrational decisions that a lot of y'all make, just spending because you want to do it or just doing what you want to do without a backup plan. This is why y'all be on the camera crying. This is like most of the time when I see a story like this, is like something that you did at some point in your life is why you on this camera crying and why we got these videos in the first place. And I'm not saying that we all don't go through stuff. Like, I've done some dumb stuff. I had to learn from it. I had to say, I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to put myself in this situation again, because when I was in this situation, I wasn't feeling good. I was not my best. I was not productive. Things weren't going well for me. I was struggling. But to get on camera and to just be like, oh, I don't know, like everything's against me. Like, no. Like, if you're going to pick up the camera and do the crying, like, do the crying. Cool, do the crying. Tell us why. do the cry, but also tell us, what are you about to do next? Where are you going next after you done did whatever you done did to put yourself in this situation? What's happening next? Where is the growth happening? Are we going to see a follow-up video of you getting yourself out of this situation? Because I love those. I love a good redemption story. I love a good, I went from broke because I did something dumb to, I don't know, I'm a millionaire. I love those sort of stories because they're real. Like I said, we all do stuff. We get ourselves in a situation, but one thing about life is you're going to have to find your way out because ain't nobody coming to save you from anything you did to yourself to put you in a better situation, but you got to do it. If you really want to live a certain sort of lifestyle, you can't just be making excuses every day of the week and just be, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. Like if you're broke, maybe you got to pick up a second job. And then I don't want to hear none of that. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I shouldn't have to. Like all this, I shouldn't, like feelings. Get out the feelings. Do what you need to do to survive, to get where you want to be. But all of this, like, I'm broke, complaining stuff, I think it's wild. If you don't want to be broke no more, you got to do something to not be broke. You got to stop putting yourself in situations to not be broke. But if you just constantly in a situation, maybe you got to look at your life patterns and your habits and what are you doing to constantly be broke? What decisions are you making? Because being broke specifically means there is some sort of incompetence that's happening somewhere when you are going to spend money, because that is how one typically becomes broke. And I mean that specifically for people who are living above their means, that have more than enough money to pay for their basic needs like water, food, shelter, bills, etc., and they're still broke. The person that wanted to go live in a high-rise apartment and you wanted to go live in this city where you knew it cost more because you just like the city, or you're not okay with living in certain living conditions because you feel like you're above that and you shouldn't have to live there even though that's what's really in your price range. These are the people I'm talking about. When you just doing too much because you want to live above your means and then that makes you broke. Y'all complaining like y'all are on the same playing field because you want to live a certain lifestyle is not the same. Y'all need to cut it out. Cut it out. Stop the lies. A lot of y'all wondering why you can't save money because you fell for the traps. You had the people around you congratulating you on all of the big purchases you made in life, and they knew that you were going to be struggling. They knew that you couldn't afford it, but because that's the proper thing to do, they congratulated you when you got that car, when they should have told you to take it back. They should have told you, don't do it, don't sign, forget everybody, forget society. It's a trap, but they didn't, because that's what people in society do. If you fall for the traps, that is where your money that you swear you can't save, the money that you swear you don't make enough of, that's where it's going. It's going to the traps. It's going to the things that you just said, I want. It's going to those things. Whatever your thing is, if you don't get nothing from this video, think about what is your thing. And if you're being honest with yourself, it should be very easy to understand and to figure out what is that one thing that you, if you have to be honest with yourself, you know you just cannot help yourself and you're going to spend on it regardless. And you're broke all the time. And it don't have to be something you do all the time. It could be a one-time thing, and this one-time thing can mess you up. You might have a thing for cars, but you know good and well you can't afford a 2021 Charger, but you're going to do it anyway if you get the chance to do it. These are the things that are going to keep you broke, because month by month, year after year, you're going to have to keep paying these payments. Then you're going to be broke and you're going to be at your job. You're going to be forced to go to your job because you need the job in order to pay for the trap that you just bought, and it's never going to end. And now you got bills, and now your rent don't went up, and now food don't went up, and now you got to pay your maintenance on your car, and then you just wondering, why don't I ever have any money? I'm broke. If you just think for a second of all the big things that you have to pay for every month, it will be clear as day. It actually look at your bank statements and stop being scared. Stop running. Don't run from your bank statements. If you actually look at it, it's going to tell you the truth every time. But some of y'all don't want to look at the truth. You want to lie and just spit out what everybody else is saying, which is, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Jobs ain't paying enough. They need to pay me more. They're like you getting, some of y'all are getting paid good. You getting paid more than enough. And it ain't never going to be enough for some of y'all, because it's not the money you're getting. It's that you don't know what to do with the money when you get it. You just get rid of it. That's the problem. The problem is you don't know how to stop thinking like that. The minute that you get some money, it's just already out the door. It's already money spent. That's the problem. It don't matter if you became a six-figure earner. Some of y'all are not going to stop because it's not about the money you make. Because some people get money and they act like they can't even put aside $2 for their future. And they're like, oh, what's that going to do? The point is you won't do it. The point is you won't change your mindset. And because you won't even make the small step to do that one little small thing, you do nothing. And you stay doing nothing for the rest of your life. And then you wonder why you're broke. It's because you don't even have the mindset to even start making money, to start saving money, to start not being broke. And you just complain about being broke. You won't look at your budget, won't look at your income, and just complain and complain. But you want better. One thing you will do is say you should get a raise at your job, though. We're going to hear that. And it's just like, we have to be honest. I'm not saying life can't happen to people, because we know life happens to people at the worst times. But typically for an extended amount of time, if you find yourself never getting out of a situation and you're constantly broke, should we not question the things that are happening, how we're spending money, what are our money habits? If you don't want to be broke. If you do want to be broke, don't do nothing because you like how it is. But there must be changes in behavior in order for you to get a better result. You just can't be complaining about being broke, and you're not willing to do more. You're not willing to get a second job. You're not willing to get more education. You're not willing to do anything to make your situation any different. You're just tired of being broke. I think you're going to be tired for a long time. 20 years down the line, you always broke. You don't think that has something to do with how you're handling money? If you don't think so, hey, I don't know what to say. I don't see how anything's supposed to change up if you're not doing nothing different. But I just had to get off my chest because it's how I feel. Y'all let me know, do you agree, disagree? Down in the comments, do you know somebody that is like always broke? What do you think about the two types of broke? Am I right or am I wrong? We have to start making better decisions in order to have a better future.